Good morning. It is 7:44 a.m. on Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So I have increasingly gotten into a habit lately of not setting an alarm because Rocket wakes me up at about the right time every day. And that's fine, except that sometimes he lets me sleep in a little bit more, and then I'm running a little bit behind where I would ideally be. But, hey, he just thought I needed the rest, I guess, perhaps. He's a very good boy that I am feeling apologetic towards at the moment because last night I was a little frustrated because he was just kept going into the kitchen and barking at me, and I was pretty sure what had happened is that he could see from the floor of the kitchen up onto the counter where his treats are, and I thought that that's what he was barking for, was demanding treats. This morning I went to give him his breakfast and discovered that his water bowl was completely empty, and that's probably what he was barking about. You do the best you can. But yeah, I suppose, having a checklist of things that it might be that are reasonable that you can verify, especially since barking at things on the counter is not something that he's generally, like, it's not like he does that a lot or anything. He certainly wouldn't get rewarded for it, so doesn't seem likely to be behavior. Now, like, so he is definitely big enough that if he gets up on his hind legs, he can reach things that are sticking off the edge of the counter. And he definitely does that. But he hasn't really ever just barked for things that he could see up there. He's currently destroying one of his latest stuffed toy acquisitions. Yeah. But in any case, yeah, so discovering, yeah, that's probably what it was. He wanted some water. He's a thirsty boy. But, remedied now. And it's a lesson that I will try to remember for next time. In other news, just a reminder that tonight is the very first session of our new Dungeons and Dragons campaign on so many levels. So if you have interest in watching that from the beginning, we're going to be starting that at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Christiana Ellis. So check that out. It, of course, the video will come to YouTube, just like this one after that, and the podcast version as well. But if you want to watch live, that's when you need to do it. So I'm excited for that. Spent last night kind of putting the finishing touches on the things that I hadn't yet established. And yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pleased with how things are going. I'm excited to see how things develop. I recognize now that it's my second time starting a campaign, like that's not just following an adventure module. And, I've learned the lesson to not over prepare, right? Like, I could theoretically come up with an encyclopedic slash atlas about every possible thing that could be seen in the world, except that characters are not going to see all of that stuff this time. And also, leaving things blank or undecided early on can leave the possibility for new ideas to come inspired based on what has happened in the game. So that's great. Excuse me. So I'm excited about that. Oh, like the other thing that I was going to talk about in this video was actually I've watched 4 episodes of The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I will talk more about it another day since I'm almost at 5 minutes already for today. But what I will say about it now is that I like it. I'm definitely watching the rest. I'm enjoying it. It's a very cool looking show. I like the main character. Cast is good. makes me want to play chess. Which I don't know. I mean, I suppose that's a subjective call as to whether that's a good thing or not. But I will say that it does seem to be leaning a little bit on the cliche about, oh, genius and madness are just two sides of the same coin. Oh. That's a cliche. It's not even really entirely true. Um, just, I mean, like actual studies of just people with who are very high achieving in a number of fields don't generally find that they are similarly paired with mental illness or those sorts of things. It doesn't mean that they are immune to those things, but there's not like a higher incidence either. So, anyway, that said, it still makes for compelling storytelling to tell a story about someone who struggles with, things, right? So that's not a problem. I just kind of wish there hadn't been a sequence that implied that that was inevitable. Anyway, yeah, so that's a very minor complaint in the show I'm otherwise enjoying. And so I'll leave it there, talk more about it another day. So in the meantime, I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.